When you're a leader, you're going to come across times when the community disappoints you and the community doesn't do the right thing. How you respond in those moments is another test of leadership, and it's another test to see what you're made of. And thankfully, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us examples from the prophets, from ulul azm. Sometimes when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us examples, He gives them to us in such a dramatic way, it actually is reassuring. Because sometimes our own mistakes or our own failures as a community are less dramatic. If we take the example of Musa alayhi salam and Bani Israel, think about the situation that Bani Israel was in under Fir'aun, the worst type of oppression and persecution. And despite all odds, Musa alayhi salam, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is empowered and they're able to flee. Now, happy ending, right? Unfortunately, no. When they're going through on their way to the Holy Land, on the way to Palestine, we see that the people that Musa alayhi salam led out of bondage and out of slavery, they commit horrible deeds of ingratitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the worst deeds of ingratitude that they commit is at one of the most embarrassing times for them to commit it. It's actually when Musa alayhi salam is brought up to Mount Tur and he is given the Torah, he is given the tablets of revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Musa alayhi salam is spoken to by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly himself, Kalimullah. In this momentous occasion, which should have been just a moment for commemoration and celebration and a milestone of the development of this particular prophetic community, while Musa alayhi salam was absent, something very, very evil was going on back down below. And that was Bani Israel had returned to worshipping other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were convinced, they were persuaded by the suggestion of the Samiri to take their gold and their jewelry and to throw it into the fire and to make idols, and to make an idol out in the shape of a cow. And they worshipped these idols, and the Samiri tricked them by saying, this is the God of Musa, so worship that. Such an unintelligent argument. Anybody could have seen through it. But Bani Israel was led astray and allowed themselves to be led astray. And so they worshipped this. And when Musa alayhi salam came down, he has a very, very difficult test of leadership. How is he going to react to this community? How is he going to correct them? What's the proper balance between holding them accountable, but also leaving the door open for redemption? If he errs on one side, if he goes so far to the direction of accountability, then people might despair or people might desert and people might go back to Egypt like some of them said that they wanted to do. If he errs on the other extreme of just forgiveness and let's just ignore it and let's accept, then there's no standards for the community and they will lose the support of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so Musa alayhi salam does something very, very prophetic and guided and an example for all leaders. He takes the best among them, and that vanguard or that specific group, they attempt to intercede with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on behalf of the community in order to repent and atone for their wrongdoing. Musa alayhi salam actually asked, قَالَ رَبِّي لَوْ شِئْتَ أَهْلَكْتَهُمْ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَإِيَّا أَتُهْلِكُنَا بِمَا فَعَلَ سُفَهَاءُ مِنَّا. So it's a rhetorical question, and it's a beautiful question that Musa alayhi salam asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, are you going to destroy all of us for what the foolish among us have done? So in this, there's a recognition that some of us have done something very, very, very wrong. And Allah, it's your right to punish all of us. Yes, collectively, it's your right to punish all of us for the fact that this happened. But we're interceding with you that there are still good ones among us that are trying the best that we can. Please don't wipe out all of us. Please don't punish all of us for what the foolish among us have done. You know, it's interesting. It reminds me of actually my time working in restaurants. I used to be a waiter for several years, and I worked for a lot of different types of people. And you can make a similar analogy to sports and having coaches or having teachers. The best managers, the best bosses, the best coaches, they are the ones that have your back. Not in any situation to the point where there are no standards or no quality control or no accountability, but the ones that will have your back and understand that mistakes happen and will try to support you in your redemption. And that's one of the lessons we see here from Musa alayhi salam, is that there is a recognition of something that was done that was horribly wrong. And there was accountability in that. Remember how Musa alayhi salam treated Harun, how he grabbed him by the beard and demanded to know, how did this happen? How could you let this happen? But at the end of the day, when it comes to allowing a pathway to redemption for the community, how can we move forward after this horrible thing that happened? How can we learn from this mistake? Musa alayhi salam split that balance, or kept that balance of accountability, but also intercession and mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as leaders, we have to plan for these things. They're going to happen. Statistically, we're going to have situations like this. We can't just give up and say, oh, everything wasn't perfect, and so the movement's over. No, this is part of history, and this is part of life. It's the exact same path that was trodden by the prophets, and it's the same path that you and I take. But we have to be able to balance things like Musa alayhi salam did, and intercede with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our community, and try to consolidate the best of our community and move forward towards what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.